What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to See It Through My Eyes, the channel with four weirdos that got nothing better else to do than to sit around and talk about sexism today. On today's episode, here with my co-host, Omar. Omar, you want to introduce our special guest today?
Hi, guys. Yes, my special guest today, name is Tyra. Hey, Tyra, say hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Why are you talking to her like she's on the phone or something? She's right next to you.
Yeah, the zoom is like right there. Just zoom in.
Well, welcome, Tyra. On today's episode, you guys, we're going to be reacting to a video from a channel that I follow. The channel is called Modern Girls. It's capital MODERN, capital GURL.
Oh God, that girl's with a U. What is this, the 2000s?
As I was saying, so we won't be copyrighted, that's capital MODERN, capital GURLZ. Thank you, Ian. And the video is called The Problem with Ungrateful Actresses. So, let's start it.
The problem with ungrateful actresses. Although acting often seems like it's just about the glitz and glamour, in many ways it's a thankless job, with celebrities being as blindly loved as they are hated. In the case of actresses, the latter tends to be more common. It seems as though every single year an invisible memo goes out into the world that crowns a new actress as difficult, resulting in her reputation plummeting, the public turning on her, and her career suffering as a result. We've seen it happen so many times at this point that you could even say there's a pattern, with multiple actresses being hit with the three uns: ungrateful, unprofessional, and unlikable. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the actresses who've been labeled this way by the public and the press in recent years. We'll explore how these labels have affected their careers, the double standards at play within the entertainment industry, and why, in most cases, the backlash they received was undeserved. Jenna Ortega has similarly made waves in the entertainment industry despite her young age. Getting her start on the Disney Channel series Stuck in the Middle when she was only 14 years old, Ortega slowly transitioned into more adult roles, beginning with an appearance on the second season of the Netflix series You. Her performance on the show was cited as a standout, but it wasn't until 2022 that she became a certifiable star. That year alone, Ortega starred in 4 horror films including Scream, X, Studio 666, and American Carnage, all of which helped to establish her as a 21st century scream queen. That year, she was also cast as Wednesday Addams in the comedy horror series Wednesday. Although she initially rejected the role as she was afraid that starring in another TV show might negatively affect her blossoming career, it ironically ended up becoming her biggest success to date. But the process was hardly all sunshine and roses. In an interview about the show's difficult creative process, Ortega said, quote, "I don't think I've ever had to put my foot down more on a set in a way that I had to on Wednesday. Everything that Wednesday does, everything I had to play, did not make sense for her character at all. Her being in a love triangle, it made no sense. There were times on that set where I even became almost unprofessional in a sense, where I just started changing lines. The script supervisor thought I was going with something, and then I had to sit down with the writers, and I'd have to go and explain why I couldn't go do certain things." Ortega would also go on to say, quote, "I can't watch my work, but I can go home from set and say, the scene we shot today felt good. On Wednesday, there was not a single scene in that show that I went home and was like, okay, that should be fine. Now a lot of people know me from that. It's not my proudest moment internally, which I think also adds an extra level of insecurity and stress, because it's like I'm finally getting these offers to these places that I want, but I don't want to be known specifically for that." While I personally think her proactive involvement is a good thing, as an actor being passionate about a role is far better than one who's phoning it in, Ortega received significant backlash for her criticism of the series' writing and direction, with some even saying that she was overstepping as someone who was new to the industry. Stephen DeKnight, a writer for various TV shows including Daredevil and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, had plenty to say about Ortega's supposed unprofessionalism, saying in a series of tweets, quote, "She's young, so maybe she doesn't know any better, but she should. She should also ask herself how she would feel if the showrunners gave an interview and talked about how difficult she was and refused to perform the material." This kind of statement is beyond entitled and toxic. I love her work, but life's too short to deal with people like that in this business. A man pushing 60 lecturing a 20-year-old for successfully doing her job is just ridiculous. I find it interesting that Ortega was criticized for changing her character based on her perception of her, but when men use method acting as an excuse for shitty on-set behavior, it's praised as a sacrifice for their craft. In situations where a man might be considered assertive or a go-getter, women are often misconstrued as defiant, ungrateful, or unprofessional. The backlash towards Jenna Ortega, Katherine Heigl, and countless other actresses who expressed dissatisfaction in aspects of their work highlights the challenges that all women face in the workforce, being expected to be compliant in order to not hurt others' feelings.
Jenna, I love you. If you see this video or hear this video, I love you.
So, how about the video, Omar? How about you tell us, do you agree or disagree with the argument that if it's a man, it's okay for them to, go off the script or act like a diva or, all that, but since it's a female and Jenna.
Well, then, yes. I feel that, yes, a man is allowed to go off script and do all this. A woman should be in the kitchen cooking up a meal. I'm joking with you guys. No. It should be fair. Both.
I swear to God, if they pause it at that end, then we get canceled.
That comment section goes off. This is all your fault.
I'm doxing you.
No, yeah. I think if anything, it should be fair. And I can see that happening where they hear her talk, they hear her give orders. But not really because she's a woman, more because of her age. How are you gonna take orders from a 20-year-old? That's kind of like, oh, well, we've been in business for how long, and I'm gonna let a 20-year-old tell me what to do, and then add on the fact that she's a girl. Oh, that means it just adds on to the icing to the cake right there. What do you think, Ian?
You bring up the fact that a lot of them don't like to, be bossed around by someone that's like younger than them, but then of course like the whole sexist element, because it's true. Like some of them, they've been in the business for years, but they still haven't even gotten like their breakout role or anything like that. And so when they do see like someone that's younger and they actually hit like a pinnacle of success, it infuriates them. And then let alone that one has to tell them what like to do and this and that. It does become like that issue. And then they try to use that hierarchy of just, well, she's difficult, this and that and all that. But in truth, I don't think that she is being difficult. And then if she is, and where's the flip of that? Where it's like, what about the fellas that's being difficult? Like, I mean, I can't get into it, but there was been some times I've been around like rooms with like big name people that, male, female, and they are some jerks, guys. I'm not dropping names, but it's just, you'll be surprised. Like, they really are diva-ish, but it's like we celebrate them on the side of just seeing what they do in front of a camera. But behind that, it's bad. So
when people were talking about it, there was a lot of people stating that, of course, there were people bashing her for it.
I can't hear you.
Thank you. When people were talking about it, there was a lot of people bashing her.
Clear his sinuses.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
Oh my God, I lost my train of thought.
Keep me going, you stupid.
You know what?
I think he lost that ticket a long time ago.
Oh,
yeah, more. How higher can you?
I'm saying, because you're like in an octave.
He's in an octave.
Specifically the key of E.
I've never heard of him in this octave before. When this first came out, obviously there was a lot of people bashing her, a lot of older people, surprisingly.
Again, age.
Yep. And I think it's very refreshing for her to come out and say that, hey, this isn't what the character would do. And since she puts a lot of effort into her roles through getting into whatever she's learning, whatever she's acting about, she would know more than a lot of people what Wednesday would be like as a character. And now, thanks to her like pushing back and saying, hey, this character wouldn't do that, she's an executive producer. And so she does have like more control in the next season. So hopefully we'll see how that turns out.
So we heard 3 of the men give their opinions about this topic. What about our female guests? What do you think about it?
I'm with all, I feel all perspectives right now. Like, I completely understand if you want something to go a certain way, you've put your mind into this, you put your writing into this. Of course, you don't want anybody to overpower it or go over what you thought about. But at the same time, I get where Jenna's coming from too, because if you feel like something is not right, if you feel like it doesn't fit, of course you're always welcome to like speak up, and I feel like that was good. But like I said, I also understand where all the other producers were coming from when they were like, yeah, no, I really don't want to work with her, just because simply don't nobody wants their work, overridden, especially by somebody who's way younger than them. I feel like the age plays a role as well, and the fact that she is a girl. So all of that ties in.
A comment that the person of the channel made that I kind of agree with towards the end of the video, that she says that just because a lot of these actresses or even the actors, just because you guys get the roles, that doesn't mean that you owe people anything. And I completely agree, especially with, going off what you guys are saying. Like, I can understand if it's a producer from the specific, movie, TV show, whatever project that they're working on. If you're criticizing that, then it is a slap across the face against, people that helped you get to where you were. But for a lot of these cases, even the Jenna Ortega one, it's producers from other projects that are commenting on something she was stating about stuff that she was working on. That's the problem that I have, where it's like, if I comment on something that, I don't know, wherever the hell, the bank that Omar works at, but I don't have that knowledge, of how the stuff worked. Now, mentioning it's going to be different between someone that works with Omar from somebody who works outside of that same workplace. So that, I don't know, I do agree that you don't owe anybody, but to a certain point, I do feel you should be at least grateful. I know she talked about, I forget what's her name, the actress that played Snow White.
Oh, yes.
That, people were kind of ragging on her because of, the way that she said, and some stuff was taken out of context that she did say, but for her to be criticizing a project that it's not like this is new. The Snow White project isn't new, but you accepted the role, and now you're talking about it's sexist, it's so outdated, and it's like, but you knew this before you came on. So that's a problem that I have, where it's not so black and white, the argument that both the person of this channel is making, and a lot of these cases, because every case is different. All these actresses' cases is different, because some of them, they should be getting the type of hate that they are getting because they are biting the hand that they fed them. And then some, it is kind of that double standard that, you have a lot of male actors that are able to act like divas, and they can get away with it. It's just, he's a method actor. But then it's a female, you get me? And I get the whole age difference and all that. Because even when, y'all remember when Shia LaBeouf, when he kind of had his downfall. And it was around the time that he was pretty young. So that kind of even goes against the argument that, it's only because she's a female, because he's a male. But it was because he was young that he was getting a lot of backlash against him. And I'm pretty sure other male actors, but that's why.
It's funny you mentioned the
the
Snow White girl, because that was always the biggest thing. Because I do remember that one of the issues that the people were having was the fact that they tried to factor the race thing in, where there was like Snow White in the name. It should be played by someone that's white, but then she's Puerto Rico, Cuban or something like that.
She's Hispanic.
Yeah. And then they was getting upset about that. My thing was, there was a point where she was kind of disrespecting, like, Snow White. And look, I get it. It, like you said, it's an old classic, this, and that. But it's like, for one, that was especially since this is Disney we're talking about, that was the one that did kind of push them into the role of making motion pictures. As a matter of fact, that was their first full-length feature. Up to that point, they only did like little sketch black and white cartoons, but it was really Snow White that really put them on the market as like they're actually making motion pictures. And so, of course, they're going to take that seriously. And so when you're going in these interviews being like, oh, the character, she's just like, she's not empowered, this, and that. And it's like, consider the time that Snow White was actually crafted. you're trying to blend the concept of what's going on in here with something that was written like decades ago. And when you try to put that mixture, it's not going to blend at all. And that's one of the reasons that even to this day, they still get on her about it. I mean, it hasn't stopped her role and stopped her from getting a bag, but it's still just the fact that you were kind of biting the hand that fed you. Cause I mean, this was a big thing. And if you didn't want the job, you could easily say no. But don't be going out here and then just being like, oh, the fact that word for word she said she hated it, that you got to take that on the, chin. And I think the producers did as well.
So,
I love you, Jenna.
Great talk, guys. I want to say thank you to our guest, Miss Tyra. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully you come another day. And I hope you guys enjoy that video. Thank you to Modern, I keep trying to say girls, for your video. Please check that out. Give her some love. Check out the video that Jesus will be putting in the description. And tune in to our next episode. Subscribe, like, share, and all that good stuff. And take care. See it through my eyes. Bye.
Bye.
Woo! Yeah!